Morning. Oh, what day is it? It's Sunday. It is coming up to 4 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm back to work, obviously. I'm tired. It's been a long week. But I did something last week which I haven't done for a while. So, my new project's coming along pretty well. All the pieces are kind of coming into place. I have most of the components now. There's one or two more on order. But I needed a point of reference. So I dug out from under my bed my old original PlayStation from, I'm going to say, either 96 or 97. Still works. Memory card's dead, but it still works. Controllers are long gone, but I got a new one. And I fished out as many games as I could find. Now, where I used to work in a game store, not all of my games were boxed. A lot of them were promotional discs. Like, they were, for PlayStation, they were like black discs, we used to call them. There were similar ones that you had for a demo, although I had the, you know what, I've got one here. There were similar games that you had for a demo, except they had the full game on. The one I've got here is Toy Story 2, Buzz Lightyear's Revenge. Looks exactly the same as a promo, but it's got the full game on there. Sorry, a demo, but it's got the full game on there. Didn't come with a box, didn't come with the instruction manual, nothing like that. I did, however, have some box games. All of this stuff is like 20 years old, so a lot of it got sold, given away, thrown away, whatever. But I did keep some. Some of the ones I kept, Tony Hawk's games, Resident Evil games, although I can't find them, and some of the obscure stuff that's hard to find, was hard to find then, but is impossible to find now. And I've been to a couple of retro game shows, and they're, oh, excuse the hat, it's freezing. They're hard to find then, impossible to find now. One of which is a game called Incredible Crisis. Now, I've owned this game for, again, over 20 years. The one thing in all that time I've never done, well, there's two things in the last 20 years that I've never done. One, finish the game. It's hard. Two, is read the instruction manual. Now, the way things work nowadays is there's the way things used to work then and the way things used to work now are completely different. Back then, you used to just have translation teams. You used to take the Japanese game and translate it into English. Whereas now, what you have is localization teams. Now, a localization team will not only translate the words, but make it culturally more in sync with the country it's supposed to be going to. And that takes on a lot of different forms. Sometimes it could be just what might be seen as a cultural faux pas in one country is seen as acceptable in another country. You get the kind of thing. With Japan, it's usually around age and it's very grey in area and kind of murky. But there are also other little cultural things as well. Like sometimes there'll be sayings and sometimes there'll be phrases that don't mean anything in other countries. Anyway, Incredible Crisis is a weird game. It essentially predates WarioWare, but is essentially just WarioWare. Same as if you've ever played Bishi Bashi Special on the PlayStation, pretty similar to that, except there's a narrative that goes through the game. And the narrative is of what's called a salaryman. It's a Japanese office worker and his family. Now, this salaryman is having a bad day, and the Incredible Crisis starts from his point of view and works through the rest of the family, but essentially all the family's having a bad day. But the bad day takes on a lot of different weird things, like he'll start off doing a dance lesson, or like a dance relaxation in his office. That then leads to him ending up on a flagpole outside the building, a giant iron ball chasing him, and giving a slightly inappropriate back massage to one of his co-workers on a Ferris wheel. Then obviously aliens come, then there's a bank robbery. Japanese, right? Anyway, I've never read the instruction manual until yesterday, when I read it to Emma, who couldn't care less about what I was saying, but this thing blew my mind. So, what I was saying about localization and translation, this thing was translated. It was not localized. They literally took the Japanese words, translated them to English. It makes no sense. Like, not just sentence structure, but what's being said doesn't make any sense. So I'm just going to quickly flick through this instruction manual. It's beautiful. Some of this stuff in here is beautiful. I'm going to go through it as quickly as possible. But boy, is it weird. Alright, I'll just flip you around. Okay. I'm going to try and condense this into about 5 minutes. So this is Incredible Crisis for the PlayStation 1. I think it came out in the States, but I don't think it had this cover. In fact, you know what? I'm not even sure if it did come out in the States. But as far as I'm aware, it did. So, yeah, this is the box here. This is the European box, obviously, PAL. And it's in a bunch of different languages. Now, obviously, I bought this. It came in and out of print super quick. That's why this is pre-owned from back then. This is pre-owned in 1998, maybe? Like I say, hard to get a copy of then, let alone now. Still in pretty good condition. I mean, the box is... It's got marker pen on it, but you can just pop those off real easy. So this is the instruction manual. Never read it until yesterday. And it's actually quite in-depth. I'm doing this all one-handed, so hopefully it doesn't come across as weird. Look at this collection of misfits on here. Let me just focus up on that. Look at this. From the EMTs... That's I don't know who that is. And then you've got aliens. Then you've got the office worker, which is this fine lady here. A fighter jet person. And then bank robbers who are stealing a piggy bank but have wolf masks on. And it's all kind of based on Dog Day Afternoon. It's weird, yeah? Let's just quickly read this. One day, an incredible crisis happens to an ordinary family. Father Taneo, mother Etsuko, daughter Ririka, and son Shoyoshi, the grandmother Hatsu, and dog Pisu. You can play the game as Taneo, Etsuko, Ririka, or Tsuyoshi, trying to help them get home for grandma's birthday party from a place where he or she is. Each story is independent, yet linked in a small way with each other. When finishing the stages, you will find various puzzles in each story, and the overall story will slowly start to unravel. Spoiler alert, you ain't going to see it. This game's hard. Continuously destructive with interesting dangers. The stories are all unique. A great entertainment game with thrilling action. You are the one to open a crisis-ridden can of worms. It's an incredible crisis. And jump cut, because it's way easier to read when you've got your glasses on. Okay, so I did the first page, Incredible Crisis. Let's look at the individual members of the family. Right, first person, Taneo. Just to point out, I don't think they're using crisis as the noun that the Western-speaking world uses it as. Like, I think crisis means danger as well in Japan, but I think it can also mean, like, decision, judging on the game. I'm not sure, but I think it means, like, maybe, like, choice. Something like that, because you do end up making choices during the game. But effectively, it's just danger. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to cover quickly the members of the family, and then this manual goes way off the rails, like way off the rails. Okay, so the first one, let's try and focus in on that. Okay, Taneo, man, I've been doing so bad with the first names, I'm not even going to bother with that surname, because the pronunciation is so bad, it's basically offensive. File 1, Businessman's Monologue. I don't know what that means. It's not in reference to the game at all and never appears. I think it means, like, Act 1? I'm not sure. Title, Being Chased by a Big Iron Ball. That's what happens at the beginning. So mainly it's things like File 1 is like Act 1, because the game's in 3 acts, and title means starting with. I'm not sure, but it doesn't even start with that. It starts with the dance class. Name Taneo, male, 47, blood type A. Now, in Japan, blood types are what we in the West use as like star signs. Like, is someone compatible? Whereas we say, oh, don't want to be an Aries. Oh, he's an Aries. Oh, I'm a Virgo, so that's not going to work. In Japan, they use blood types. As far as I'm aware. Could be wrong. When I was in first grade at elementary school, I felt stressed for the first time. I was the shortest in class, and I had many difficulties each and every day. The hardest time was in exercise class because I had to get along with others in a meaningless situation. It's around then that I gradually started to escape from reality. Since then, my mottos are victory in defeat, victory in running away, and victory in giving up. My entire life, this man is horrifically depressed. My entire life has been without distinction. So many times I have thought how I want to behave proudly, and I want to get ahead because a man has to shine and a man has to succeed. And then it's every sort of chapter takes this break, this line break. It's on purpose. Let's focus up. Finally, the time came. While being chased by a great big noisy iron ball, I was so excited that it developed into a passion that I became accustomed to. You have to understand my feelings. I was shaking with excitement while running away, laughing. That doesn't happen, by the way. Escape is a place dear to my heart. My home comforts me. Paradoxically, on one hand, I am in a crisis situation. On the other, my mind becomes crystal clear. Incredible crisis is the pinnacle of my cowardly history, my great destiny. Please watch carefully for various interesting crises. Crises? Right. So as you can see, basically just word for word from the Japanese. They haven't localized it at all. But the best thing is that they all acknowledge that they're in a game. Like when he says, incredible crisis is the pinnacle of my cowardly history. Like they all reference the fact that they're in a game. I don't know whether these are based on real people, whether it's based on a anime or a manga or something. Right. So as I say, as you go on, it gets more and more bizarre. Housewife's Monologue, File 2. I think that means Act 2. Title, Jet Fighter, Involvement, and Me. This is Etsuko. Right. If I had to choose one word for my life, it would be involvement. Yes, involvement is exactly the right word for the marriage to my current husband, Taneo. The reason I say current is because it's my second marriage. Rurika is the daughter of my ex-husband. Shoyoshi is the son of Tan and I, whom I married 10 years ago. It was not a sweet, deep love, but I decided to marry him anyway. And although I can't tell you any more of the story, it's one of the results of involvement. In spite of that, whilst most people look for pleasure in life, why did I choose a poor man? I couldn't say. Maybe I'd already given up the dream and romance at that time. People live in a sequence of accidents. It was an accident when I went to the bank that time. It was getting robbed. Spoiler. It was also an accident that I can ride on a snowboard without any practice. In addition, it's one more accident that I can control a jet fighter. Accidents are the involvement of life. Involvement is crisis. Crisis is a symbol of life. And a word for all of you that will get involved with me in this game, involvement is fun. Well, thanks, Execo. Alright. Rurika. My crisis. Again, I'm not quite sure. File 3. High school girls monologue. Jet fighter, stuffed toy, and destiny. Female, 17. 17. It is often said that people's destiny is predetermined, and I have felt this recently. But I never contemplated seeing a UFO's child. Do you believe a UFO would have a child? I could never imagine such a thing. It has nothing to do with my will. So it means that it is determined by destiny. There is a nasty old man at my part-time job. Everyone hates him and wants to put him in his place. Surprisingly, his house was crushed by my stuffed toy. I felt a little sorry for him, but I told him it's your destiny. Can you think of any other reason why a stuffed animal would crush a house? I can't. Shame on me, but I can't stop laughing. By the way, my father is Taneo. Oh no, not Taneo. I can't tell anyone he is my father. I'm so ashamed. I used to ask myself, why does he have to be my father? But nowadays I can see that it's my destiny. Anyway, Incredible Crisis is pretty deep, but great fun. Remember, this is her second marriage. She has been married to him for 10 years. She was 7, right? By the way, my father is Taneo. She would know? Like, maybe her stepfather. Maybe there's no word for stepfather. I don't know. Maybe there is. I don't know. Shiyoshi. Tile 4. Elementary schoolboy's monologue. Even I get smaller by a light. He's 9. I am good at facing adversity. I am often told that I am strong-minded, or I am too, grown up for my age. Some people say I'm impudent, but don't be fooled by appearances. I can guess why I am in the game Incredible Crisis. That's the only time it's not got an exclamation mark up at the end. Since I became a little famous, I am seriously thinking about which hairstyle makes me look cool, but my mother has cut my hair without my permission. One of my best attributes is low blood pressure. My pulse is pretty slow, and blood sugar level is low too. So it's really convenient for me because I don't have to worry about taking too much salt. My sister, Rurika, again, why is that in, like, semi-quotes, says that I have an original personality, but I have no idea what she means. I think we do. The things that make me different from others are I like dull or rusty stuff, and I don't like the showy stuff. My favourite food is jelly beans. I like their taste, colour and weight. I also like sea slugs and small fish. The word calcium sounds good to me. It sounds cool. I was really surprised when I became smaller, but I didn't feel scared because I sang songs all the time. I think I am a good singer. I want to be a big star in the future. One of my dreams is to have a great feast for all my fans. I will write a message, drop dead, Shiyoshi, at the signing. Right, again, this bears very little resemblance to what you actually do in the game. I have no idea who wrote this. Also, right, before we go on, 11 plus, right? 11 plus. Bear this in mind. Natsu. Grandmother's monologue. Live with my family together. To tell you the truth, since I am 80 years old, I would like to celebrate my birthday at a health spa rather than with a cake. Grandma living it up there. Okay, and finally, Pizu, the dog. The dog's having a crisis. I mean, look at him. Dog's having a crisis. File 6. Dog's monologue. Title. Woof. Pisu. Sex, male. Age, not applicable. Blood type, not applicable. Bow wow. Bow wow wow. Bow wow. Wow bow. Woo woo. No. Game Spring Explained. Right, so this is the only bit in the whole manual that makes kind of sense. It says room meter. The room meter is all important meter and displayed for each minigame. It sometimes indicates damage, time limit, water level, depending on each game. I don't know what that means. There's normally some kind of meter, whether it be like a life bar or something down the bottom or something in the thing. I think it means like situational icon or meter. I think that's what that means. The meter is like the eruption of man. I mean, I know that one is not... I mean, maybe that's the room meter, but that's always in there. And it's basically a head where steam starts coming out of its ears, and then eventually, if the temperature rises, then it explodes, which I'm assuming is just your breaking point, I guess. The meter is like the eruption of man, and it rises from the bottom. Some minigames, the meter rises to the halfway point. If you're close to danger, the man admits from his ears. If the meter is full, the man erupts from his head. And the minigame is over. So, yeah, it's just like a life meter, essentially. Alright, then save, load. The only time you ever see the dog, by the way, is in the main menu screen, where you save and load. There are cutscenes. I have to stream this game. Right. This is where the instruction manual starts to lose me. Right. Incredible Crisis Friends. So, right. Here's
the only way I can describe these 2 pages. They have... They've listed what seems to... This has got nothing to do with the game, right? From now on, the instructions and anything to do with the game or the story or the narrative or the family, gone. Like, finished. From now on, this is now basically situational hazards, some of them, and the others are danger that one would put themselves in, i.e. incredible crises. Sometimes real life requires crisis. There is a varied lineup of old and new crisis characters. What will you do with them? Right, and then it just lists them. Banana skin. It's too obvious, but doubts remain for its real power. Classical crisis beyond time itself. Basically, banana peel. It's a classic. Don't fall for it. Bench, freshly painted. Sorry, I'm trying to get the light out. Hang on. Bench, freshly painted. A symbol which rings warning bells in a calm world, disturbing peace of mind. It's a sticky crisis. Bungee jump. Remains a miserable question of doubt. Why do I have to do such stupid things in such stupid ways? Self-tormenting crisis. Manhole. Everyone knows what it is, but it is a symbol of next to no experience. A bit sad. Vertical crisis. Roller coaster. This always impresses... Right, this is the one sentence I don't understand. This always impresses the crisis's righteous government. Right, one more time. This always impresses the crisis's righteous government. It's the name of my first album. They say deep crisis stimulates boring daily life. No, vertical crisis, self-tormenting crisis. Just, they say that deep crisis stimulates boring life. Spicy Chinese noodles. Again, this is a daily crisis that we can all relate to. We still can't find any effective defense against spicy Chinese noodles. The only thing we can do is sip the noodle. Beads of sweat crisis. Yamada's family perro. Dog. Right, I think this just means, like, stranger's dog or next door's dog. I don't know. I don't know who that is. I don't know who the Yamada family is. That's why I say maybe this is based on an anime or some kind of manga or something. We're still not sure if he's a member of the crisis or not. But anyway, charming crisis. I don't know. I just don't know. This has got nothing to do with the game. None of this is in the game. The falling of a thunderbolt, i.e. thunder. No, the falling of a thunderbolt. Does that mean lightning? The most influential thing in outdoor crisis. It sounds a bit old-fashioned, but the power is exceptional. Skydiving. Like, they've gone from thunder to skydiving. There is nothing like this. The only person who studies thoroughly, though, is allowed to try it. Luxurious crisis. Eye drops. Oh, sorry, eye drop. I don't know whether that's like putting drops in your eyes or your eye falls out. This just makes us feel refreshed. Oh, it's eye drops. But needless to say, glasses. Glasses after eye drop. It is impossible to understand for a normal person. Unreasonable crisis. I genuinely don't... See, the thing is, you think, well, it gets a bit weirder from here. Like I said, each page after this or after that one gets a bit more mad. What could you possibly do to get any weirder than just naming random things and saying how they could be an everyday crisis? Well, let me tell you. How about when you're making this game, you let people try it out and then vox pop them afterwards and see how it's affected their lives. Before and after playing Incredible Crisis. I'm sorry, this thing is so shiny, I'm trying to get in focus. People should not live for Incredible Crisis, but we secretly investigated how much influence it has on them. How do people change? Unusual after effects are to be seen and heard. Why don't you find out about the Incredible Crisis appeal? This is not an appeal to like make money. This is like the appeal of the game. Like, is it good? We ask these people. I don't know much about Japan, but I think the next bit is satire, and I'll show you why. Mr. Yoshio Takahashi, 16 years old. Before Incredible Crisis, he apparently looked sick, but now he is a picture of health. What brought on this change? We never expect what happens to us in life. Although he is very young, it opened his eyes to the reality of things. It is one of the Incredible Crisis effects? Question mark? So, before this game, he looked sick, but now he's healed. This has to be satire, right? Miss Mitsuko. How cool can someone be when they are being chased by a huge iron ball? Mitsuko is very proud of herself because she now has the answer. Before she played Incredible Crisis, she was always shy. This story impressed us deeply. You're damn straight. Alright, this is where Miss Mikiko. Mikiko works at a cosmetic company. Personally, I am interested in how she copes in the face of danger. She looks grown up, and her expression has a sexy aura. There's really no... We don't even know if she played it, to be honest. All of these are like, how did you feel before and after? This is just comments on her sexy aura. So I guess we won't know. Mr. Kaizo. He looks much younger than his age. Around 40 years old. He's actually 50, it says there. So he looks 10 years younger. He must have been very handsome. I would guess the ladies were crazy about him. But he wasn't remarkable before Incredible Crisis. His big change is the food he used to hate is now his favourite. How on earth did this game do? Mr. Takeshi, 8 years old. 11 plus. 8 years old. Give a back rub. An inappropriate back rub to a co-worker. 8 years old. He used to be very shy, but he's become very bold after the experience of Incredible Crisis. Now he's like a different person, especially around girls. 8 years old. He speaks with undue familiarity. It seems his behaviour has become affected by the Incredible Crisis staff spirit. He is very worrying for his future. What on earth? The last one might be my favourite. The last one, possibly my favourite. Hang on. Deep breath. Okay. All the others have gone from weird, slightly creepy. This is both, frankly. Miss Masai Kato. Before Incredible Crisis, she was not good at taking her medicine, but now she can take 3 kinds of medicine with no problem, depending on the situation. She says one's life can change dramatically if the timing is good, but it has nothing to do whatsoever with the game? Right. You don't take medication if you've broken your arm or your leg, maybe like a chest infection or something, right? Look at where she's based. Look at where the others are based, right? So, focus up. Hang on, let's try and get this down. Focus up. So, here we go. Fujisawa cities. City. Nagoya City. Shikasi City. Suginami ward. They went to a ward. A hospital ward. For 3 types of medication. And she's 20 years old. Like, this woman is either seriously ill or in some kind of mental rehabilitation place. Like, what on earth was going on there? Like, if it was like the 50-year-old taking 3 types of medication, you'd be, yeah, fair enough. But what on earth? And she played Incredible Crisis, and now she takes her pills. Like, what? That's too bizarre for me. Anyway, then it ends, and you have the French, and it just says, Copia, c'est sûr. Yeah, that's Incredible Crisis. Oh, and just as an addendum, the French version of the game. Is this still the French version? Yeah, this is still the French version. So the French version of Incredible Crisis ends with a picture of the only one that ends with this image, who I believe is Adi Parashakti, which is an Indian goddess. The goddess creator, and yeah, in some sort of Hindu sects, the goddess creator and destroyer. I don't know why just the French gets that. It's Virgin Interactive. What was Richard Branson doing with Adi Padashakti in the back? I don't know. Anyway, Incredible Crisis. It is a weird game. Nothing in this book relates to what happens here other than the meter that pops up and stuff comes out the ears, like steam comes out the ears. That is the only thing in this book that relates to this game. It's so bizarre. I'm going to have to live stream it. It is so weird, but in the best way. Like, sometimes Japan does odd weird, and sometimes it does, like, creepy weird. But this is just fantastic weird. Incredible weird. Incredible Crisis. Peace.